Hey, we're cooking with gas here on the Jewcast.
Okay, careful using a phrase like that.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries of a sham.
Tradition!
Oh, shut up, Carl! Shut your goddamn Jew mouth! You people are why there's war in the Middle East!
Gekakken auf ein Jahr.
Nebbig.
Verpupupu.
Vermischt.
Verkackt.
Vertutzt.
Verstunken.
Farted.
Exactly.
You what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
Oh, boy, here we go. Number 59.
Oh, boy, wow, another quarantine episode of American Jew.
I'm going kind of stir-crazy myself. How are you doing, Jonathan?
I mean, not great. It was a big kick in the gut yesterday to find out that this is going to go on for at least another month.
Seriously. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good at complaining about shit, but this is ridiculous.
There's a lot to complain about these days. Jews everywhere are having a complaining field day. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. You know, there's a lot of instances in the Bible where, God gives the Jews plagues and pestilence because they're not, doing what he says. They're not obeying him. Like, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that this is maybe... I know we both don't really have these strong beliefs in God, but do you think that the people that are saying that this is God coming down, he's punishing us for being wicked and sinning, what do you think?
I mean, it is not outside the realm of possibility that if there is a God that hates the fact that we don't worship him enough, the plagues that was his thing. He said
that was in Egypt even, and then in the book of Chronicles, he says how he's going to send a plague among the people, if they do, for their wicked ways, if they do bad things. In Deuteronomy, he says that, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until it's consumed thee from the land. That's pretty good. And then he goes on, the Lord shall smite thee with consumption, with a fever, and with an inflammation.
Ooh.
I know, this is crazy. And then in Leviticus, it also kind of says, if you don't obey him, if you don't do his commandments, he will send a plague among you. In the book of Numbers, there was times when, people went against Moses, or the Jews, they assimilated, with other nations, and he didn't like that. And he said, he brought down a plague. At one time he killed, it says 24,000 people. At another time it said he killed 14,700 people. I mean, the coronavirus, last I checked, it had over 146,000 deaths and over 2 million people infected worldwide. This is a worldwide plague going on. A lot of religious, figures, they've said, it's because of homosexuality. It's because people are sinning. I don't think it's any of those things, but it's crazy.
It's kind of funny to think that, there are people out there that say, the Jews started this. But if you go down the thought process that you're talking about, that God is putting this on us because we're not worshiping him enough, that means that it's actually the non-Jews that started this.
Or kind of the Jews from straying from the path, from assimilating, from not, worshiping his commandments. So then he brought it down all across, across the world, all the people.
We could blame this on the people who are not Jewish enough.
There's so many people to blame, not just the Chinese, not just bats. But, I don't personally think that this is, a curse from God, or God is smiting, the whole world. But I just think it's interesting that in the Bible, in the Old Testament, there are all these examples where that's exactly what God did when people upset him and people pissed him off. And now we're living through these unprecedented times where, the whole world is being affected by this virus, by the coronavirus.
I know, it's nuts. And I didn't do as much research as you did to be able to pull out actual passages from the Bible, from the Torah, but there are...
I did have a lot of free time on my hands.
I just know that there are a number of passages that we read in the past where if somebody had some sort of an ailment, that there was social distancing written into the Bible. Like, they have to live outside the town for until it's gone for like 8.
Right, when people had leprosy, didn't they send them away?
Yeah, it was like 40. You had to spend 40 days outside the village.
Well, everything was 40 days, right?
Right, everything was 40 days.
It's 40. There's just like 40 days and 40 nights. That's how long. How long? It's 40 days and 40 nights. It just kind of means any extended period of time. They just went with the big 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's the lunar cycles, right?
I don't know. There's not enough lunar cycles going on right now for me to be happy about being inside for so long.
Yeah, I'm not really telling time the same way as I used to.
The days are just going by. We want to thank anyone who's listening, and we hope we could bring some, joy to their quarantine life. It's a sad state of affairs. It's crazy. This has happened. Never thought this would happen. Can't believe it's going on this long. When it first started back in March, it was just like didn't have any idea that, it was going to be a whole new normal. Now everyone has to wear masks. So a lot of Jews are not only covering their heads, they're covering their faces. This just sucks. Jews are being victim of it, especially a lot of religious Jews who, didn't take social distancing seriously, who got together for holidays, for weddings, for funerals, for praying 3 times a day, and they're being, infected with record numbers and passing away. It's like this is really something that you got to take very serious, even though, there are people out there that are protesting and saying it's nothing and start the economy again. This is obviously real. Who knows exactly where it came from? Now they're saying maybe it came from a lab in China. I don't know. This is crazy days. But you know what? It doesn't matter that, this is happening to everybody in the world. We still can't unite. There's still crazy anti-Semitism going on.
Yeah, there is. The cryptocurrency thing that I saw, you sent me a thing about. There's it's not like the Bitcoin, but it's like you could buy Jewish ashes.
It's a new cryptocurrency where you could buy either Jews or you could buy ashes, and the ashes are like from the Jews that burnt in the Holocaust. It's like this anti-Semitic cryptocurrency game where I guess you could trade them. These coins right now, they're not worth anything. There was a website about it that was taken down, but there are some, I guess, cryptocurrency trading platforms where this is trading. The guy who created it claims at one point it's going to be worth over $100,000 each one. Apparently there's only enough coins that are supposed to symbolize, each of the Jews that, were affected by the Holocaust. It's sick and it's crazy is what it is.
It's gonna go, that's gonna go away. I don't. If it's not worth anything, like these are just.
It's not worth anything, but there's still these anti-Semites that enjoy this game that think it's fun to be like trading this kind of thing.
I don't know. They're gonna go back to Pokemon or something. There's got to be a.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's got to be something else they can collect.
Yeah, people are talking about it on Reddit. People are, saying about, again, how the Holocaust couldn't happen. I guess there was one person that claims it was a lie. He said there's no way 6 million Jews could have been killed because there were only 52 ovens, and that would have meant they had to burn 2,760 Jews a day, which makes no sense. And the guy who created it, he goes by the name of Smog Hitler.
Smog Hitler.
Yeah, and he's saying it's gonna skyrocket. It's trading under the name Jews. Right now it's the coins are free. It's crazy. I think there's something like over 15 million Jew coins, and about 208 different internet addresses have already been holding the coins. It's called the Holo coin instead of the Holocaust.
I'm gonna call them schmuckles.
Schmuckles?
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to do it. It's crazy that, there's an anti-Semitic cryptocurrency game. That's how bored these people filled with hate are. And if that's not worse, now what's become a big way of people communicating with one another is through the platform Zoom. And another thing that's happened is this thing called Zoom bombing.
Yeah. Well, which is not necessarily just anti-Semitic. There's definitely been people that have ruined people's Zooms without being anti-Semitic. But that is one of the bigger issues, that they're putting up like swastikas and pornography and messing with people's Zoom conferences.
Yeah, definitely. I was reading about people that, unfortunately they had to have like a funeral over Zoom, and the people, it got Zoom bombed, and, they're putting swastikas and showing nudity and doing disgusting, horrible things, spreading anti-Jewish propaganda. And it's just crazy that there are people out there that'll just look for any way, any outlet to spread their hate. And I think it's even worse at a time like this. Like this is really a time where humanity, I feel like, needs to come together. And we have, why are we fighting against each other when there's this common enemy of the coronavirus that's, killing us by the thousands? And it should be time for, humanity to say like, oh, hey, we're all human. We all, can be victim of this. But no, instead, there are still these schmucks that are going out there and spreading such hatred.
It's awful. Have you done a lot of Zoom calls, by the way? Have you been on a lot?
No, I've not. I'm not super into Zoom. How about yourself?
I mean, I've done a fair number. I've yet to be Zoom bombed on any one of them.
Oh, are you feeling left out?
Well, I mean, I feel like I haven't had an opportunity to met out any justice.
Okay. Well, maybe you got to Zoom bomb some like anti-Semitic rallies or meetings that they're having online.
Right? Yeah. Go in there and just start asking about the price of pork in their neighborhood.
Hey, whatever you think is right. Just start praying, blessing them, saying that hopefully next year we could all be in Israel.
I'm down. I'm down to
I don't know how to Zoom bomb, but I mean, if you are out there, a Jewish hacker capable of Zoom bombing, go for it. Do some Zoom bombing to some of these anti-Semites. I posted about this on our Instagram page. One of our listeners, one of our followers who's been with us from the beginning, has an account. It's called Steel Toed Geek, and he's teaching Zoom Krav Maga classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you could log on to his Zoom. They're doing it like twice a week. If you check out on our Instagram page, you could find his Instagram page, and you could stay home and learn to do some Krav Maga.
Is he teaching any Zoom bombing defense?
Not that I know of, teaching any Zoom bombing defense, but maybe he will. I'm not really sure what that would look like on the internet.
I don't know either, but I think it would be interesting.
We definitely need all the help we could get to fight this anti-Semitism. Speaking of which, I've been watching the show The Plot Against America. There's a new episode comes out every week. It's getting very interesting how much this fictional world has changed because Roosevelt never went into World War II and they didn't fight, and how much hatred there is for the Jews, and anti-Semitism kind of spreads in America, and how they want to send the Jews to different parts of the world. And it's a very interesting show. I'm super into it, and I think it's great that lately there are all these Jewish-related shows. Last week we were talking about Hunters, and we were talking about the show on Orthodox, and now there's a show about, The Plot Against America. And it's great that, we are getting so much representation. And it's also, great that there are non-Jews that could, check these things out and be more aware of the anti-Semitism that exists, that could exist. I think that's really great.
Yeah. No, it's good. Listen, I mean, I've always said, and I think we've talked about this a lot on here, I think that a lot of anti-Semitism stems from the fact that we don't do a very good job of explaining to the rest of the world and people that don't understand what our religion is about, and there's just a lot of misunderstanding as to what we do and why we do. And I think even within our own ranks, there's not a lot that connects me to the actual rituals in a lot of cases. So I think that this all just helps to raise awareness and spread more knowledge about what it all means, and without having to resort to jokes.
No, for sure. I mean, one thing I love about The Plot Against America is that this family, and they're really having this problem because the husband, the wife wants to leave and just escape to Canada, and one of the sons is kind of enamored by everything that's happening, and that they want to send Jews to different parts of the world, and he thinks different parts of America, thinks it's great. And the husband is just kind of infuriated. He's like, I'm an American Jew. This is my home. He's like, I'm an American. not just a Jewish person. And, we, of course, identify as American Jews. So I think, anyone that likes our podcast, I think you would enjoy the show. You should check it out. Well, there's not a lot to do. If you wanted to get into Jewish rituals, I guess now would be a time to do it. To learn more about Judaism, to spread more knowledge about the religion.
Yeah.
I was seeing there was a celebrity Zoom Seder that had millions of people watching.
Oh, really?
Jason Alexander was one of the celebrities on it. The girl from The Marvelous Miss Maisel. A lot of people that weren't even Jewish.
Yeah. The girl from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is not Jewish.
No, they were part of the Seder, and it's like, and they brought it up, like, do you have to be Jewish to celebrate? And that's something we've talked about previously in the podcast. And like, hey, I know there's some people that say, no, your mother has to be Jewish. If your mother's not Jewish, you're not Jewish. But we don't believe that. If you want to be Jewish, you want to participate in some of the traditions, we think it's great. And personally, here at American Jew, we invite everybody. You're all welcome.
Yeah, please come to the table.
Come to the table. So it was definitely a weird Passover. Purim is when it's kind of kicked off. Hopefully this will be over before it becomes like Rosh Hashanah, the next Jewish holiday.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know what? I just want to say, at the as we wrap this episode, I want to just the fact that we're all kind of quarantined and we're practicing social distancing. We're all, in our own little bubbles and whatnot. This is a good opportunity to sort of come together collectively as a society when we get back together with each other. It's important that I think because that's one of the things about this is that it's as horrible as this whole coronavirus thing is. It is unifying. We're all in this together in a sense, and when we come out of it, it's going to be helpful to have a community of people to help pull us out of it.
Well, I definitely think you're right, Jordan. Definitely need to unite as a community.
Yeah.
We hope everybody got their $12, their Trump bucks, $1,200, the Trump bucks as people are calling it. If you want to support the podcast and you want to support us, you can Venmo me at Jonathan Randall.
Yeah,
or follow me on Instagram at the same.
We'll figure out how to put a link up so you can donate some monies our way. And, feel free to send us an email at AmericanJewPodcast@gmail.com. We're on all social media platforms as American Jew Podcast, except on Twitter, we're American Jew Pod. You can follow me on Instagram at BeatnikNudnik.
I'm at Jonathan Randall on all social media.
And we thank you guys for listening. It's nice to know that we get to connect with you at least once a week. So, l'chaim.
Stay strong.